All right.
What's it?
Is it recording?
Yeah. It's been, oh shit.
Is it gonna fall?
Maybe we should put a sandbag on there.
Yeah, I think
let me grab it.
this
Yeah.
one right there. I'll hold it up. You think people like the whole behind the scenes
The clips?
parts
yeah,
of it?
Of course. Everybody
Like before
likes
we
that.
even start.
So smart.
Oh, there we go. We got sandbags.
The sun bugs.
Back again with another one.
We should start a new thing where we do a breathing exercise at the beginning. Okay.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah, like that. Constipated.
Hold it in.
Is it, oh, no, that's pregnancy.
That's Lamaze. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of
Be Uplifted.
Welcome, welcome. As you can see, it is me and my handsome co-host again.
And me.
And
Stop.
me.
We're a short one, but that's because my dear Lonnie, she is building a human right now. So
we're actually
she's a
short
little-
1.5.
True.
Yes.
So she's a little busy right now, but we're going to have her back soon, we promise. So what are we talking about today, guys?
We were talking about the age gap outside.
Oh, yeah,
So-
age gap.
Yeah.
So you tell me from your experience, what is your experience with age gap?
Get with an older man, ladies. All you hoes in your 20s.
And end stream.
Canceled. That was quick.
So have you dated mostly younger than your age then, right? Or all younger than your age?
There was only one girl that was relatively my age. She was 1 year older than me.
Okay.
And that was a really good experience. But then the only thing was that there was so much of an imbalance because she lived in Temecula. She had her 2 kids. I had my daughter. So
Okay.
it was a little tough. And then she was very she was very focused on her job. So
Okay.
it was a little tough.
So you
But
guys are
it was
leading
different.
very, very much age appropriate lives. So you had stuff to deal with.
Yeah, and it was cool because she can understand the shit that I was going through. Meanwhile, like I had other girls that were just like, "Oh, I don't understand why we can't do this and why we don't do, like go out all the time, blah blah." And it's like, "Bitch, I work."
Yeah, yeah. So, what is the biggest gap that you've had with a girl, if you don't mind me asking?
Not a problem. Okay, so I want to say I was 34 and my girlfriend was 21.
Dang.
Because I met her and then we started kicking it, and one of the first things that we did was we went clubbing.
Okay.
Later to find out that after I think it was 2 years together, she was celebrating her 21st birthday. So I was like, wow, you lied to me about your age just to kick it with me. That's weird.
I mean, I had that happen to me too with a guy, but how about you, Kuya?
7 years.
7 years
7
is the gap.
years, yeah.
Younger?
Younger.
Okay.
I've never dated anybody older because I don't think anybody older actually or same age as me ever like was into like the same things I always,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am.
So, okay, obviously, disclaimer, we'll put it out there. Everyone is different. Everyone has different experiences, et cetera, et cetera. But generally speaking, what would you say that it's like a positive experience for you? Was there anything different about the age gap?
They say like girls tend to mature faster than guys.
Yeah.
So there's sometimes there's a balance, but then sometimes you don't know where in that transition they are also.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, I think that dating somebody younger, there was like, now that I've known, there's some girls that I've dated when they were younger, but now that they're like in their 30s, they're totally different human beings.
Okay.
So the hardest part was always like trying to find that balance with, as Vince was saying, like the whole, I still want to go clubbing. I still want to do these things. And you're over here like, man, I wake up in the morning, my knees hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. How about
Yeah.
you? Positive, generally speaking, or is there anything where you're like, it didn't really make a difference, or what was your experience like?
It was okay. I'm not gonna say that there was any time that I think that I would have chalked it up to like age, but it was the maturity thing. I did really like the fact that I was confident that she was gonna look like that for a long time.
Oh, so like kind of like the more superficial level of
Hell yeah, yeah,
the titties were perkier, the skin was smoother.
yeah, exactly.
Your titties lasted through the kids.
Yeah.
So what do you say about guys that are way older? So not way, but like, do you think that there's like a limit of where the gap is like too much?
I think that if like guy or girl, if you're just you're hitting your 21st birthday or you're 22, maybe even up to 24, it's really hard to date somebody like 15 to 20 years older than you. I think obviously when you're 30 and you could date somebody that's 50, it's a totally different subject, right? But I think when you're still in that stage where you're still trying to find life
And who you are.
and then learn, like, find yourself culturally, find yourself emotionally, find yourself in just many ways, it's really hard to deal with somebody that's like, that's pretty much your fucking dad.
Right.
And a lot of times you tend to turn around and you're in a state where now I feel like the dad because I have to lecture you about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that actually reminded me of my next question that I was going to ask was, do you feel that women that date guys that are significantly older than them, that they tend to have daddy issues?
So wait, before that question, the other question that you asked was what? Like, is there a limit?
Yeah.
Okay, so before we can move on to the next question, I do
Okay.
want to say, generally, yes, I think that there is a limit, and I forget the math on it, but there's like it was if
There's
if
an
she's,
equation.
I think
Normally I come
okay.
up with the equation.
I
No,
know.
okay. So I think the equation was if she is like half your age plus 8 years or some shit, or like it's like a I think it was like if she's 75% of your age, then that's okay, something like that. So I'm gonna say generally, yeah, there's kind of a limit, but actually there's not. And the reason I say that is because you and Lonnie keep calling me and Rich unicorns. So the whole consensus of things, and that's probably the wrong word, but the whole idea of finding somebody is you're looking for an exception. So
True.
So even though generally I wouldn't try to date somebody that's too young or anything, within legal age and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's a person that was just born too late, if she was born too late, I'm not gonna discredit her. Yeah.
So do you think that they have daddy issues when they date up pretty far?
I don't know if you can call it daddy issues. I just think that sometimes they're, are they searching for somebody that's not their age that's also like loosey goosey? You know what I mean? So to coin it like daddy issues, that's kind of unfair. I just think that sometimes when you're, let's say you're 30 and you're dating somebody 50, you're not some girls, and then you've always seen it. You get if you have Facebook, you get the numerous posts about like, I'm just tired of the games.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're at 50, you don't necessarily you're not necessarily playing games anymore.
Yeah.
You're just like you know who you are, you know what you do, you know what you like, and I think when girls go, yeah, I'm dating somebody like, let's say 10, 15 years older than me, a lot of times they're just looking for the stability part of it.
Would you consider that almost like gold digger like though? Like, I'm looking for an older man because I want that stability and I want him to provide for me, and most people my age are incapable of doing that.
Maybe, but I don't think that that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
True.
I don't think you'd want to call it the gold digger. Is because you simply want somebody that can provide and protect and do all sorts of stuff. Now, if you're, let's say, 24 and you're dating somebody in their 60s because they drive a Lamborghini, that's a different story,
Definitely agree with that. Situational,
Yeah.
for sure.
right?
Sure.
But I think when somebody says, "Yeah, I just I prefer older guys because they have this stability, they're financially secure, they do this." a lot of times people say, "Oh, you're just a gold digger." No, but you're essentially just wanting somebody you don't.
You know what you want, basically.
Not necessarily. You know what you want, but you also know that there's less headaches.
True.
Right? There's less headaches in the future. You don't have to deal with somebody that's going to end up being 100% broke.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the experience that we have too, and the things that we learn. Like okay, here's a trick that I don't think that I've disclosed before. Is I've bought girlfriends. For the record, flowers are the stupidest gift because they die. I have no idea why girls like flowers so much, and a lot of them don't even smell good. But if you do buy flowers, and this is something that you learn with maturity or by subscribing to the Be Uplifted podcast. Let's say I bought a girl flowers, right? She'd probably only get 11, because if I bought her a dozen roses, she's not gonna sit there and count them. She's just gonna accept the gesture. But I'll keep that one rose to know when it dies, so I know when to buy her more.
Wow.
See, that's some shit that you learn as you mature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Girls don't keep count, and you have something to gauge when you are ready to, or when she's ready to accept more flowers.
Okay.
Does that go with groceries too? So if I bought meat, then leave it in my fridge, and I know
Give her cut off a corner of it.
so I know when I have to buy her more groceries.
How much is she consuming in a day? That's part of the calculation, though. So I was actually gonna say that I agree with that, but two extremes, kind of like either one, they do have daddy issues because there's that side where it's like they're looking for someone to guide them, right? They're looking for someone to kind of teach them how to be in life. So I feel like some women date for those reasons, and those are kind of daddy issue type reasons, But then there's women, like you said, where it's not daddy issue type reasons. It's more like, I just want a mature guy that's not running around, that has his head on straight, that knows what he wants, that's already established. So I feel like when those are the primary reasons behind it, then it's not daddy issues.
So the whole thing with the daddy issues thing is the one thing I don't understand about it is that, so the dad can never teach a daughter how to be a daughter, right? So he shows her, and this is the template that he's giving her. Right, you need somebody that sits there, that's loyal to your mom, that's raised a family, that's a provider, that's a protector. Mm-hmm. So essentially, it's not necessarily daddy issues, because the daughter's gonna be looking for the exact same thing. They're not looking for something that they're missing, because they don't. If they grew up without a dad, they're basically gonna be a template of their mom.
Yeah, but I don't think that's true, because I know I've spoken to girls that are like, yeah, I got into that relationship because I didn't realize that I was looking for that father figure.
But I feel that there's a lot of times where they're also using it as a cop out. Where they're saying, "Oh, I have daddy issues," or they, whether they admit it or not, it boils down to that. But that's also a cop out that I see when they say, "Oh, you're a Pisces." I've dated one of those before. Mm-hmm. Why would you generalize it?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that it's a daddy issue. It's just a lack of accountability, I guess.
Yeah, that too.
Because if let's say if you do have daddy issues, well, shouldn't you just recognize that, and then instead of trying to compensate for that?
I mean, you would think, but
yeah.
Well, from their point of view, okay. So now I'm curious. What exactly do they mean? When they talk to you and they say, "Oh, I was searching for that father figure." What type of father figure were they searching for?
George Michael.
I guess probably whatever it is. To me, the way that I interpret it is they're basically searching for whatever they envisioned in their life for a good man to be.
By the way, if you don't get my joke,
but what's wrong with that? That's that. And then we apply a negative state to somebody. We're I'm just saying, hey, I want to date somebody that's this, and this. And then now you turn it into a negative because he's actually able to provide you with all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And why isn't there a term called mommy issues? If
well,
you're...
that was going to be my next question. Was when you flip it, is that double standard?
Well, it's not even flipping it. If you're a female, or if you identify as a female or whatever, and you have that female role model, why don't you hold them accountable too? You know what I'm saying?
I think mommy issues are a thing. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people talk about it as much as daddy issues, but I definitely think that mommy issues are a thing. I know a couple of guys who kind of treat women badly because their moms were bitches, you know? So it's kind of like they have this internal resentment towards women, you know? So they're not good to their girlfriends, you know? So I think that's a thing too. I just don't think it's labeled necessarily.
Yeah, but I don't think that is mommy issues. Like when you hear people say I have daddy issues or mommy issues, it's always like it seems like they want to put a negative spin on something positive. Like there's men and there's women, right? Biologically, I'm not talking about what you identify with. It's biologically,
Right.
And there's always like that the mother figure and then the father figure, and I think that when I say like I want the woman to have this type of role in the relationship, and this is my role, and then we work together to do the whole complete role. I think that at some point, like people put such a negative spin on it. Like, do you have mommy issues? Like,
I don't think that that's negative. I mean, for me, like I agree with you. Is what I'm saying is I don't think that in those situations that picture that you painted, I don't think that that's negative. For me, my opinion is mommy issues / daddy issues is when you take the negative traits and you date someone with those same negative traits because you're so used to that pattern and you don't realize it. That's to me is the negative side. Of
Yeah,
daddy
that's
issues.
definitely something that I've never considered.
Yeah.
But now that you're saying it out loud, I'm like, shit.
Yeah, because even me, I can admit that. Like when we had our daddy issues episode, I realized like I dated a lot of guys that were that carried a lot of similar toxic traits that my dad had, just because I was so used to them. You know, I didn't even realize that they were toxic traits. So that I think is like the negative daddy issues. But I agree with you with what you were saying on the other side, where some of it can be used as a positive thing if it's a structure for something that's good, right? So yeah, I agree with that.
I'm not familiar with the whole daddy issues thing. The mommy issues, I can kind of relate because I think a lot of times guys, they date somebody with that perception of what their mom should have been.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they're there to like almost like be coddled, be like, you know, did you pack my lunch? You know, she packs my lunch and all that stuff. And that's where I think the whole mommy issues are for me.
Yes.
Where you're trying to find somebody that's like that's like your mom.
That's gonna be your mom.
That's gonna be your mom
Yeah.
practically. Yeah.
Well, see,
Dude,
I
I've
think
been that person, and I'm like, I'm not your fucking mom, bro. Like, I'm not gonna do that. You know?
I think that I've had the opposite effect because I've seen like my mom is great. She does all of those things. You know, she takes care of, you know, all the things that you would think that like a mom would do. But at the same time, I've always tried to overcompensate just because it's like I want to love somebody the way that I feel like my mom or my daughter should be loved.
That's a good model.
So, you know, like I'm always trying to like take care of, you know, be financially responsible, but at the same time, let her do whatever the hell she wants, you know? So I try that. I'm not saying I'm successful all the time, but my intentions are always good where I just cater to her, you know? So I think mine would be a little bit opposite.
That's interesting. That's like a different perspective on it. That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to the age gap thing, though, would you say that like it's more of a gamble when you're older and you're dating someone that's like 21, 22, 23, 24? Because for me, the reason why I bring that up is that happened recently to someone very close to me. Is they were dating someone that had a huge age gap. I think it was not huge, like 10 years. I think he was older 10 years, and I told him, I was like, you know, in the beginning stages of the relationship, I was like, she seems okay, you know, cool. I'm not going to judge her, but be careful about that because you're about to be 30. She's like fresh 21, you know, and the second the world gets bigger for her, you know, like this might not last, you know, and I ended up being right. So
I had my daughter at 28 and her mom was like 21. So yeah. So, I mean, that's again, I've been there with that, but again, it's always good to really to indicate what the age, because I mean at 30 and at 40, if you're dating 30, 40, different than 20 and 30.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I definitely think it's not someone that was in a age gap relationship told me it's not really an age gap, it's maturity gap, right? And I was like, that's a good way of putting it. I think that's more of a proper way of explaining, like, it's not really the number necessarily, but more like where you are in life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a girl that I dated, and I don't want to get too much into the details because it's gonna be easy to know
Identify.
who that is. Yeah, but her cousins even told me because like
Oh, I know who it is now.
I was like,
no her cousins even told me they're like, yeah, we knew that she was like that. Like, look at her mom. She came here from the Philippines, and then as soon as she got here, she cheated on her dad or whatever or her husband when she got here.
so
and
her
it's
world
like
got bigger. See?
yeah, and it's like I was like, yeah, and then that was the role model that I had with, or that my ex had, which was that girl, and they're like, and all of the cousins were all like, yeah, dude, that's just how that family is. Look, every cousin is full Filipino, but every dad that's here is white.
Oh shit, that's crazy. They're like, oh, right when we got to the States, we saw some fresh meat and we were out. That's
they want to colonize the colonizers. So it's like, all right, whatever. All right, you do you, whatever. But then, yeah, it was again. It's because me and my ex, we were the same age.
Okay.
But there was a lot of times where she would do things that I viewed as immature. There was a lot of times where she didn't quite like understand the logic behind things. She would act very much on her emotion, so on and so forth. But look at her mom; it's the same thing.
Yeah. I think. Do you really believe that guys are about a few years behind women?
No,
I think logically, you guys are ahead, if not the same. But in my experience, no offense, guys, love you guys, but I feel like emotionally, guys are behind. Like I feel like
this is the thing.
it's the emotional part that's kind of delayed when you guys understand women's emotions more and like things like that as you get older.
Well, here's the thing: is that like okay, there was a saying that Rich said that girls mature faster, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that girls mature faster, and then they stop, and then guys slowly catch up and then continue. Like
Yeah.
I personally, I think that I've surpassed the maturity of all of the girls that I've dated. But growing up, 6th grade, 7th grade, I didn't develop boobs. I didn't get hit on by guys walking in the mall. So yeah, they have to mature further or faster.
That makes sense.
But then when it comes down to like now we catch up, and then all of a sudden like society wants us to take care of those girls, we have to surpass that.
Oh, that's a
So
really interesting
emotionally,
way of putting it.
emotionally maybe not, but logically, like, yeah. And here, for example, that whole roses thing that I was telling you
Yeah.
about, like most girls don't even think about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But logically, it just
I don't
makes
think
sense.
about it.
Yeah,
He's like,
You're lucky to
not
get
even
something
there.
from me.
yeah, yeah. Y'all are lucky if you get anything. No, but I mean, but I fail to think that there would be a girl that would have come up with that concept. You know what I mean?
you're such a Scorpio. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a Scorpio too, damn it.
Oh my gosh,
Yep.
this explains everything.
No, but I think, Vince is right though. I think the guys do catch up because now their society tells them, or just, I guess
Basically
society
don't
tells
have
them
a choice, right?
that hey, you're 25. Not now it's time to like
Get your shit together.
get your shit together,
Yeah.
get a job, and then start looking,
Do you
for
think that there are women out there that do continue to progress as men do, or do you think it's just like no?
Not generally, no. Are there any in existence? Absolutely, there are. But then, as the general population, I don't think that they continue at the same pace that they were growing, because like when we were growing up, we had to worry about fist fights, Indian burns, what's it called, wedgies, stuff like that, right? Whereas girls, they have to worry about guys, taking them in a white van or something like that. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? Like, I don't
yeah.
want to say the word, but
Yeah.
yeah, so they have to mature really fast. But then for us, like, we just have to keep going, because at that, when you find out, okay, I have to be conscious of this or this, but once you get to that point, we take over, we start getting into the protective role, and it's like, okay, well, now that's why there's not that many girls that are like hella balling.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, when you look at the global population, like the majority of like CEOs are men, because we're raised to now be protectors and providers for women.
What about like maybe this is like totally like out of topic, but kind of is in my head, is what about like men that end up being like deadbeats, you know, like deadbeat dads. It's like they never took responsibility of their kids and they never got to that maturity level of being a provider and things like that. Do you think that those men are like the exception that didn't mature and catch up, or?
Well, yeah, there's exception on both ends, you know, and I think that, you know, like I would.
But you know,
Okay,
they say that
let's be honest.
that's
If I had a
more
friend
common.
like that, I would like shame him. I would talk shit to him. Like he deserves that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think that population is higher though of men that decide to be deadbeats as opposed to women who step up and are like the single mom?
Social media.
Social. Well, no, I'm just saying like is the number of deadbeat dads because they're actually deadbeat dads compared to they're deadbeat dads because the mom said so and she controls
Yeah,
the work.
that's
she
also
controls the kids.
That's very
Like
true.
how are you, oh, he's a deadbeat dad. He never shows up. Well, is he allowed to see your kids? No, hell no. He ain't allowed at my house. Well, then what's the problem?
There are a lot of women like that.
Yeah, see?
It's true.
But society-
I witnessed that myself, and it disturbs me. I'm like, women really do that shit?
Yeah,
That's
they do.
crazy.
But I'm saying like, but in the media's eyes, the guys are the deadbeats. The guy could be the guy could be in the background continuously trying to see their kids, and the mom just stiff arm,
we
keeping
should
them
really
at bay.
look up like those type of stats one day to see like what are the statistics of like. Well, I guess you can't really check on the statistics of like women that are fucking lying about their men though. So maybe not. Never mind. Just kidding.
Well, it's tough. I mean, like I personally know somebody that hasn't been able to see their kids for a long time. He did have a troubled upbringing, but then he's completely changed, turned his life around. Makes more money than I can. I was like, yeah, you'll do good rehabilitating yourself. And he's like, no. Now he's like balling.
Nice.
Always trying. He's
So
always
got his shit together.
Yeah, got his shit together. Trying to talk to like different lawyers, trying to get in contact with his kids and stuff like that. But the mom is just a bitch.
Yeah. Well, it's also again, it's social media. If you're not familiar with social media, there's a thing called algorithm. So if you're a
Constantly watching that.
no, if you're a
Hashtag
if you're-
deadbeat.
not necessarily, yeah. So if you're the woman, you're gonna get a lot of those stories. Everybody's a deadbeat dad. But then if you're on the other side, and you're the dad trying to, having the ex-wife or the partner that's completely keeping you at bay, you're gonna get a lot of that too.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's so weird to me that there's just like actual things that are controlling what's being like shown to
Oh
you.
yeah,
I think
well,
this is that's a whole nother.
That's why my feed for TikTok is all cars, cameras, and coochie.
Yeah. Election 2024, you'll see. Your algorithm will change daily.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking a lot about men dating younger women and women dating older men, right?
Yeah.
So let's flip it. What are your guys' thoughts on, like, say, the young guy that dated up? Like, I'm dating, for example, like, there's someone that me and Anthony know where the age gap is opposite. Like, the woman is actually 15 years older than the man or something like that.
Well, what's their age though?
Well, when they had met, he was in his 20s.
Okay.
So, and I believe the age gap is.
And then what's
15
she?
years.
What's her age?
Like now, I think she's like in her 60s now, and he's like in her like late 40s or something like that. Or I mean, I don't know the exact difference.
So
I
they
just know that
started
it's-
when he was 20 and she was 40?
yeah, when he was like 20 something
20 something and then 40
and she was in
something?
her 40s. Yeah.
So when he turns
Right?
40, she'll be 80.
Yeah. So he would have been
no,
20.
no.
If you say 15 years,
About
we suck
15
at
years.
math.
I'm all like,
can't
we're,
math.
we're not mathing right now.
we're not
okay,
Filipino.
Honey, I need you here.
Let's just say 25 plus 15, so 35,
So
right?
yeah.
Oh
So
my
like-
God, no, that's not 25 plus 15 is not 35,
35.
guys.
Oh, that's 10.
So she was 40 and then 25.
Yeah,
Honey, I need you here on this podcast. I need a mathematician that can add.
Because I just added 25 to 35 as 15 years. That's
Yeah.
wrong, guys.
So 40 and then 25.
Yeah.
Where did they meet?
I don't know the details of that, but they're like fucking happily together till this day. Like,
Hold on, that's not that bad though. Because, okay, like if she's Asian, you
No, she's
probably
white.
can't tell. That you fucked
and
up.
he's Asian. He's Asian and she's white.
What type of Asian?
Filipino.
You know, I can't hate on that because if J-Lo hit me up, I'd be down for that.
Well, and like not to mention like yeah, she's white, but like she's got flavor. You know, like she a spicy white girl. You know, like
I don't think color. I mean, race and
has
whatever
much
has
to do
much
with it.
to do
Yeah,
with it.
right.
I just want to know like what state of their life they were in. Because at 20, again,
She was freshly divorced.
okay, and he was.
The gardener.
He wasn't. I honestly don't know. I think something about like they work together or something like that. I could be totally pulling that out of my ass. I just know that they met somewhere and that like she had just divorced her husband and the husband was like a drug addict at some point. So like he ended up help raising the kids, you know, and everything too. The new boyfriend, you know. So
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's obviously kind of not necessarily. I mean, I don't know if it's rare. I mean, I rarely hear of the guy being the younger.
do you think that that's weird though? If the guy is like significantly younger than the woman?
No, I think if it works out, it works out.
Yeah.
I think we put too much emphasis on like
Age.
the age. Sometimes it's
As
like
long as it's appropriate, right?
I think that people can view it as like the general public will probably view it as
Weird.
weird.
Yeah.
But then for us, we also just had an episode normalizing the OnlyFans. So,
right.
so we're
Yeah.
a lot more accepting for whatever makes you happy.
But why do you think it's more of a stigma for like it's more negative if a girl dates up than when a guy dates up? Because it's almost like, oh yeah, he fucking pulled an older woman. Whereas like girls, it's like, oh, you're fucking that dude with the old balls. You know, like why do you think that is? That it's like cooler for a guy to date up?
Because it's all about like claiming for guys. It's all about that challenge. It's like like oh, I got myself the whole MILF thing. It's like
real?
remember that one chick that played Stifler's mom.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, she said that she had so many
I'm try.
sexual encounters after she did that movie with younger dudes, like because that's the fantasy is to get an
So
older
is that
woman.
I guess that's my question. So is that a fantasy for most young men?
To an extent, right? I mean, like obviously you're not going, yeah, I'm 30, I'm gonna date somebody 80. That's hot.
So generally speaking, there's the fantasy of you as a young guy dating an older woman,
Yeah,
and then you
because-
as an old guy dating a younger woman. Is
Yeah,
that-
yeah. I mean, I think with guys, it's more like, yeah, we're trying to figure out like,
Do I still got it?
no. It's more like what can she show me that the younger girls don't, like the experience.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So it's definitely like thinking with your penis, like
Yeah,
what can
of
this fucking
course it's
older-
thinking you with your penis. We don't think about anything else.
That's true.
Oh, Vince.
I hold the microphone, like
Should we do an ad break?
odd.
Yeah, so fuck, I wasn't really trying to edit, but yeah. While they're doing this, and it just looks like a dinner platter, by the way,
You should
and
just make it a. How do you pronounce it?
a smorgasbord,
A
a charcuterie,
charcuterie
charcuterie board.
Charcuterie.
But here's the thing. All right, so right now everybody's starving. You starving?
I'm so hungry.
You're so hungry, but guess what though? Now we gotta go and wait, and we gotta go get food from someplace
You know
else.
why? Because I've failed to order my Mikey's meals.
That's right.
The inconvenience of life without ordering, you guys. You don't want to live this life, I swear.
And if you're listening to this right now, is when the episode actually comes out, which is going to be this week because it's the only episode we have. Mikey's
now.
Meals is currently having a flash sale.
Yes.
Look on the side; it's a flash sale. You save $60 on your meals.
And you get flashed by me. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
I'm just kidding.
that's some sort of sale.
Mikey's like, don't attach that to my brand.
But if you don't want this, if you don't want to use a flash sale, because unfortunately our code does not work on the flash sales.
Yeah.
If you do want to regularly order from Mike's Meats, you could use our code TheBabes10 for some of the best. No, not some of the best. The best. A meal prep company here in San Diego.
That part. Is it too thick? That's what she said.
Yep. I think we should just.
We should just do this the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just handle it.
I don't.
I have an alternative.
We should have taken care of this after the episode.
I
Now I gotta edit.
sorry.
I hate editing.
Sorry, Kuya.
Wave like that so I know that's a part.
I'll give you the finger.
What was this the same table we used last time?
I thought so.
Oh no, it's not holding up too well.
I don't think that's gonna hold up either.
No, I'm gonna
Put a thing on it.
I'm gonna get a clip. Just put the mic stand between your
Huh?
Between my boobs. Doesn't work.
I got 5 on it.
I've never heard of that song. What song is that?
I don't even know.
I wouldn't even be a real stoner if I didn't know that song. That'd be inappropriate. Unacceptable.
Yeah, Ari's mic was sagging too much.
Yeah, and now okay, so this is part of the break. If you guys are interested
Like old
in
balls.
in our socials, they'll be in the comment section. I mean, they'll be in the description box down below. I
Do
am.
your balls sag a lot after aging? Like a lot? Is it like significant? Like how boobs are?
I don't know. I don't sit there and go, "Fuck, my balls."
No,
are
you would notice it, right? Like girls notice when they're like, "Damn, my boobs don't fucking hang like they used to." Guys don't notice. It's not a lot. It's just a
I don't. I
little
don't
bit.
think we care enough
But girls care.
about saggy balls.
Yeah, that's gross.
Then
I'm just kidding.
then add a little bit more.
I'm just
like
kidding.
like make sure you do it in colder weather. guys, huh?
Can you attach yours like that too? Do it? No. I want to have a little baby girl just so she could take pictures in that cute ass setup right there.
Does she know she's having a wait?
No, she don't know yet.
So is that
It's in.
Rich's definition of in.
Oh no, the clip's not working. Could you put like something like bags here to hold it down or no? Would that work? Ala, mahuhulog yan.
Tangina shit.
Wait, didn't you say you speak a different dialect, Kuya?
Yeah.
Visayan?
Yeah, it's a form of Visayan. I'm from the Visayans, but obviously there's like same thing in Manila where there's like Ilocano, there's Kapampangan.
Oh,
So it's not, so it's like you say where you from? I'm from Pampanga, so you speak up.
Kapampangan, is that what you speak?
No, I speak Ilonggo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's Bacolod and Iloilo that speak it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Negros Occidental.
How do you say like how are you?
Kamusta ka?
So same
Musta-
thing.
But we say we'll cut it like musta na?
Musta
Come-
na? Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard that before.
Put your mic on.
Oh, you're not used to doing that.
No.
I got 5 on it.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Thank you for fixing.
So
Excuse me.
where were we at?
We were talking about how it's almost like a stigma because it's like real cool when guys date up or
Okay,
down,
yeah.
but it's girls got issues if she's dating an old ass guy. Either she's a gold digger or she's fucking there's something wrong with her, But for guys it's like, oh, look at him fucking pulling an older chick,
I think it just society has taught us that way. Like from movies, it goes all the way from like what movies we grew up watching.
Yeah.
The older, the younger guy, the like My Graduate with Dustin Hoffman, or like certain things like that. It's always been the fantasy of like the guy with the older woman.
But it's like, what do you want? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want the same thing as other people. You
Yeah.
know? So, like, don't yuck my yum.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say though to people that are like, okay, but so I'm talking like real young. So I'm curious to know your guys' is like, for example, there was that kid that was like 15 that got caught and it was all over the news back in the 90s, I think, when he was dating the teacher.
Yeah, and married her. Yeah,
And all
yeah.
that. So what's your opinion on that when it's that young and people are saying like they don't know any better, they're impressionable kids, like you're taking advantage, and it's like I'm pretty sure boys at that age already know like yeah, fucking I want to bang this chick. You know what I mean? So what's your take on that?
I personally think that she Mary Kay Letourneau, by the way, was her name.
Ah, yes. Good job.
But I'm not going to mention the dude's name because like Falau or whatever his name was. But I think she was a predator at that point.
Okay.
He didn't know. He didn't know it. He's 15 years old. You know, you're trying. You're at 15 years old. You're sticking your dick into like a toilet paper roll, seeing how it feels. You know.
So-
You know what I mean? It's almost like you just-
Anybody could have done it and it would have.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think she should have known better, and I think that because she was a teacher, it's her role to protect kids too. So it's a really bad move at that point.
Yeah.
You know.
Just
And that's what
practice
but-
self-control.
Yeah, but that's why
Jesus.
we have those laws, because there are predators that would actually like feast on younger kids because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just that was just sickening to me. Like, okay, yeah. So eventually they got married, but then they got divorced, and there's already like problems there, right?
Right.
Like mentally, how mentally secure is he at that point? Like he
Yeah.
doesn't know exactly how to feel and how to think.
Yeah. Like he thinks that this is love in his head, right? Because
Yes.
he's so young. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just it's. I just think that at that point, no, you don't touch it. And there's always guys that are like, oh my god, especially when it's like the hot teacher, like
Yeah.
the picture. I'm like, oh, and the guys are like, oh my god, I wish I had a teacher like that when I was young. I go, no, you
I would have
don't.
paid attention in school.
Yeah, no, you don't. Like they're predators. Me as a parent, I'm sending my kid to a school to learn, and there's protection there, and then you're supposed to like not necessarily like feast on my kids.
So even if like, just because I've seen that in the news too, right? Even if the kid, which I completely agree with you, so don't think I'm disagreeing. This is just me asking to ask. What about people that like guys that are like, yeah, but like it's my choice. Like if I want to fuck an older woman, then it's my choice. Because there's a lot of kids that think they know what they're doing at that age.
Not at 15, you don't know what you're doing.
But they think they do.
Yeah, but you don't.
Right,
Like
so-
that's why we have laws by
Right.
older people that protect people that think they know what the fuck they're doing.
But at that point, don't you think it's the adult's role to be like, no, like this is
Well, no,
inappropriate.
no, exactly. But
Yeah.
but the kid would be like, oh, I got some. But realistically, like,
Right.
are they really matured enough to make that decision?
No, they're not. That's why. For me, that's why I said that was. I think really that's where you step in as an adult, right, and be like, yeah, this is inappropriate.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's why we have laws.
I know. Seriously.
That's why we have laws. That's why we have laws for certain things. It's just because people will take advantage of it, and people think they know what's good for them, but essentially it's not. And that's why you have a bunch of people that make these laws that tell you it's not such a good idea to go ahead and basically attack kids at school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. So, if you could give advice to anybody that is partaking in a age gap relationship, what do you think are like some pros, cons, and advice that you could give?
Take your time. You always have to take your time. So back to your friend, right? You said that she was older, but they worked together.
I think so because I didn't really ask a lot of
but
questions.
let's just say they work together.
Right.
So the relationship there was basically
an adult relationship.
not necessarily an adult relationship, but it was actually cultured in a work environment where, there's times when you meet somebody and you're like, oh, I have no interest whatsoever, and then they grow on you, and then eventually there's something there. So
Yeah.
you don't know whether or not they actually like spent many days, many lunch times together, finding out like who they are on Facebook and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and eventually it grows into something that's like, hey, you know what,
There's
we
something
kind of like hanging out.
Yeah.
You're hanging out platonically, like at work functions and things like that. You're going to people's party, like birthday parties. You know how work is.
Yeah.
And then it grows on that. So you can't really judge it at that point, you know, and then eventually it's like, okay, well, you know what, let's give it a shot. And that's all you can do, but it takes time. You know, you don't, if you're 30 and you go to a club and you meet somebody at 21, that might not be the right person for you because you met at the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said this many times. If girls come up to me and they're holding a blue drink, you're too young for me.
If you don't know where Usher was,
What was he doing at 7 o'clock on the dot?
then you're too old for this or too young for this group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was with R. Kelly.
So like that, right? Like that's bad, right? That
Oh yeah, there's no good way to say
like
that.
he just was running through a bunch of young people, but a lot of these people not justified it, but a lot of people like I remember I was reading one time, and I don't know where I was reading it, Facebook, fucking Instagram, I don't know, but they were like, yeah, well, these fucking parents like apparently let some of these girls do that because R. Kelly was paying their rent, you know, or like paying for them to go to school. What are your thoughts on that? Where it's like the parent is actually allowing it to happen because they're getting something out of it.
Horrible parent.
Right.
Yeah.
Horrible parent.
I mean, yeah. So let's look at the history of those parents.
I feel like that parent needs to be held accountable too, right? Not just fucking
absolutely.
R. Kelly, right?
No,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Like where were you? Like you actually you're an accomplice to
Right,
this crime.
exactly. Yeah.
And yeah, it just I totally don't understand that, but you know, I also see the attraction of getting out of your bad situation. Right? I mean, if you're sitting there and you have your daughter's, obviously, I mean, I hope she's pretty enough. And she's
Pretty
getting
enough for R. Kelly.
yeah, pretty enough for R. Kelly. So you see like your hope. So you're living your life through your daughter, hoping that she can land him and then eventually get you out of whatever situation you're at.
Right.
So if you're living in the projects, or you're living in like a 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm not saying projects like specifically color or whatever, because there's a lot of people that live in projects, or like government housing or whatnot. You're sometimes looking at like, oh, she dating R. Kelly, you know, you getting the money, get us out of this situation.
ticket out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Still not okay, but
it's still
yeah.
not. It's still not okay. But you kind of get
Why?
the mindset. You know, the mindset of that.
Still stupid.
I
Yeah.
totally think it is too.
Yeah.
It's just like you're basically whoring your kid out for whatever monetary value that's being provided to you by this guy.
Yeah. Well, some people are saying that like he brainwashed a lot of them, and some people say that that's how a lot of these like young girl, older male things are. Is like it's like this brainwashing. Do you think that that's true?
It's yeah.
extent,
I mean,
right.
I understand the whole brainwashing thing, because you're promising something that they don't have. Like you're promising like, okay, so like let's say I had like, let's say I was a billionaire right now. It's so easy to go into like just find somebody on TikTok
Yeah.
and knowing, oh, and by the way, a lot of sex trafficking happens through fucking TikTok. You know, because they find girls that are about that life, or quote unquote thinking that they're about that life, and they just show them that they could be part of that life, and they
Right.
get attracted to it, and next thing you know, they're gone. It's easy. All you got to do is say, hey, you like that life on TikTok? I can provide that for you.
I've literally had people in my DMs, like old men in my DMs, like, hey, if I cash apped you $2,000 right now, would you be like down, you know?
Yeah, but we'll never see you.
Right, exactly. So I just block, you know, but I've had that. And it's like kind of crazy to think about, because you're right. Like that's a real thing. One of my friends, actually, he's pretty, he does a lot of music on TikTok, and he used his daughter's face as his profile picture.
Oh, I'd never do that.
Yeah, but just like it was like a weird picture, almost to be funny. You
Yeah.
know, like not thinking anything of it, that it
Yeah.
was gonna be anything, right? And he didn't have any pictures of her. It was just like this weird, like funny, like warped picture of his daughter. And he was like, yeah, he actually wanted to talk about it on the podcast. Mike Blevins, Mike Blee. He was
Oh, okay.
yeah, so he's like, yeah, you guys should talk about that on the podcast one time, because I was blown away at how many people were trying to hit on me thinking I was my daughter. And and his daughter's like 5 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
No, guys are fucking sick. Well, that's a whole different
Yeah,
subject.
whole different topic, but yeah.
But yeah, that's why I have 2 Instagrams.
Same, personal and
I have my personal one, and I have the Kuya Rich. And I'm always careful about what I post because I have a 19-year-old daughter,
right.
you know, and yeah, she that's why she never really and she doesn't show up on that.
Same.
It just no, she stays on the private section.
I've had people ask me that too. Like, how come you don't make more content with your kids, like on my Makeup Lifted page, you know, because it's a makeup and a fun page. And I'm like, because it's public and people are creepy. So yeah, I totally get that.
And I don't want to, I mean, I vlog with my daughter, but it's few and far between.
Right. Same.
It's like, yeah.
Exactly.
I just talk shit to my daughter.
So would you guys ever have a problem if, like, say your daughter right now dated someone 10, 20 years older than them?
If he's worth it, I have no problem with it. If she's happy, no problem with it.
At 19, no. I mean, at 19, I'll be like, no, you're not. I mean, that's just like, you're 19.
You're not even 21 yet.
You
Like
know,
what we were talking about,
like,
right?
go. I say go see the world. Like I don't know why you're so concerned about dating. That's what I tell her. You know, don't worry about dudes or whatever. Just go see the world. Go experience life. There's many things. Like one day, like at one point you were a One Direction fan. I tell her at one point you were a One Direction fan.
Yeah.
Now you're all about fucking BTS.
Yeah.
Two polar opposites, right? So One Direction's like what from England, and one's from Korea.
Right.
In a short years, she's like, what do you mean? I go, I can show you pictures of you holding up a fucking Justin Bieber poster because you were in love with Justin Bieber, and then you were in love with the fucking Paul brothers, Jake and Logan Paul. Then you were like One Direction, and now you're BTS, and I'm like, look,
You just change and you grow.
you change and you grow, and eventually you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, you'll probably settle.
Wow. That's fucked
No,
up.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We all settle in the end, guys. No, just kidding. It's the sad truth of life.
Yeah.
Settled for myself. I'm good.
Yeah. So if anybody's listening to this,
He
and
did it right.
yeah, so if anybody's listening to this and they want to settle, we can try the whole settling thing together. And we're like, what are you guys doing?
As long as you have big boobs, because these boys like big boobs, guys. Big boobs, settling, they're your guys.
Not even denying that.
yeah, are you guys dating? No, we're settling.
It's fucked up. Can you imagine? Okay, how about you? Any thoughts or pros and cons to age gap in your opinion? And like, if you could give advice to someone that's like thinking about, I don't know,
Honestly,
outside their age.
you know what? Honestly, I try to look past that, and I'll just look at the maturity. You know, as long as you're both mature, then it's cool. Because it's kind of stupid, you know. Like what was it? Chris Hemsworth,
Yeah.
Thor.
Yep.
He was all like, "Oh yeah, millennials fucked everything up or whatever," and it's like, "Oh, that's kind of unfair," you know, judging a group of people based on their birth date. And I was like, "Yeah, it's stupid, dumbass." Like Pisces.
Pisces.
Yeah, you know,
Aquarius.
yeah, Sagittarius, Scorpiosis.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Like, just because you're born at a certain time doesn't mean that you're not like good enough for something or you're too good for something else.
Yeah.
So as long as the maturity is there, that's fine. We can make fun of Mercury Gatorade together. We can make fun of like why like the Jupiter moon rising is in its aluminum state. I no idea.
Yeah, and
You
whether
know?
you're NFT 2RP, whatever that fucking thing is, I'm an NFTI or I'm an LP. I don't know what that is either.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, you know what? Just remember the only person that you have to make happy is yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if somebody wants to come along for the ride, then let them. If they're not going to be piece of shit.
Live your best life, guys.
Yeah.
As long as, what do we always say? As long as you're not hurting
Fuck
yourself.
those kids. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I
that
was
too.
like-
As long as
Wrong
you're not
quote.
hurting yourself,
Yeah.
others, and fuck those kids, then
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
Live your best life.
Yep.
How many minutes did we get out of that one?
Well, we had a little break in between, so we're at 54 minutes now. So that's a good episode.
Yeah, like a 45-minute
Yeah,
episode.
something like that.
Bet age gap, bruh.
Age gap.
Yeah. You know what? The whole thing, like always, just work on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you're like in your 30s and you want to try them out, try them out. Just don't be serious about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try it out at 20. I like try to date a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
Life is too important to be taken seriously.
That part. Cheers to that.
Oh, are we drinking more? Okay. Cheers.
Boom. Boom.
Mine's over there because we're not sponsored.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to cover it. All right.
My sponsor would be proud of me. That doesn't have alcohol.
All right. So there's that on Age Gap.
Yep.
And thank you for watching. And order Mikey's meals. And anything else?
Rent the studio if
Yes.
Yes.
Rent the studio. Hire him for any editing needs and more, because he does more. He acts now too, guys, in case you didn't know.
subscribe to her OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, I have to. You guys have to help me put it together because I don't even know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Like the other day, I logged in and I was like, I don't even know how to use this thing. I was literally like intimidated and I closed it super quick because I didn't know what to do.
No, we should do is just focus on getting more content. So after this camera's off, we're gonna turn on the good camera.
No, not today. Not today. I don't
Why?
have time for that today.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, we'll end it now. We'll just forget the rest. We don't.
Yep.
We only need one episode till next week anyway.
I didn't get prepared to get naked today. I'm tired.
I did. I mean, I prepared for you to get naked.
well, the good thing is, if you need to get naked, you don't need to bring a specific outfit for that.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
And if you need me to get prepared for you to get naked, give me like 2 minutes. Oh, not even that.
Yep.
I'm prepared
30
now.
seconds, right? Right?
We can't end
They
this.
stay ready.
We can't end this because I
What?
can't get up. my jeans are too tight.
This is what it's like working with boys. It's fun. Fun times.
Yep.
Boners and vagina.
Well, that's
Speaking
how
of
it works.
which, that's the reason why Lonnie's not here.
Yeah, boners and
Well,
vaginas.
exactly. That part.
Her vagina got boned.
Congratulations to Jason and
Yes.
and Lonnie, by the
She's
way.
probably like, are you guys really talking about me getting boned when I'm
Wait,
not
do we
there?
know? Do we know if it's a boy or girl?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Because we're thinking, if it's a girl, Denise. If it's a boy, the nephew. It's a good name, right?
But they're not Vietnamese.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Don't nephew and don't leans.
Oh my gosh, we're going to get canceled super bad by other Asian people.
I'm gonna clip that.
I know, right?
Nanese and
All right. Okay, you guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.